All right. Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to be putting some ghillie suits on these fine gentlemen right here. So I've got 3 Ghillie'd Snipers, and it's a pretty old model, but I think we could make him look a little bit more modern, or at least a little bit more camoed. He's got a little cloak with some leaves on it, but I definitely think we could improve on that. So what we've got here is a knife that I almost cut myself with, some ace bandage, warm water, and of course PVA glue. And all I've got right here is just a little piece of trash to hold some water, and give yourself a decent amount of glue. Okay. It doesn't have to be too strong. You actually want it fairly thin because you're going to do several coats. Oh yeah, just like that. So now that we've got that fairly mixed, we can take a piece of our bandage and just start kind of imagining how we want to do these. So first I'll take this guy that has just no ghillie suit on him, because that's just unacceptable. He's a sniper in the dense death jungle of Catachin. Gotta hide somehow. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit more glue to this. 2 shots of vodka. Alright. Get that all mixed in there. So what I recommend doing is, now this is gonna look like a scrotum at first, given the material. But once we get it on, I'll show you the stages. So obviously there's our first stage. And this is my work in progress Lehman Russ. Okay? It looks terrible. It looks like a ball sack. But the final product, once we get it painted and shaded, it's going to be something like that. Which, it's still a work in progress. I'm going to add some flock to the top. But that's what we're going for. Something just like that. That just screams jungle fighters. And obviously this doesn't just apply to Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum or Warhammer in general. Several games, or even not games, if you're just into modeling, this technique will work for you. So we're going to take just a dry piece of our bandage and start stretching it, and you want to basically try to stretch out all these fibers in here, all these little elastic bands. It's okay if it rips, it'll actually probably make it look a lot better. Okay, we're not going for uniformity at all in this. So I just want to stretch it just like that, and it'll come back together. But what you're trying to do is basically tire the material out. And what will also probably help you is get a little hole in there, okay? And this is really just a go with your gut type thing. So play around and experiment with it. For this guy, let's see how he looks with a poncho. Although he's aiming, so it's probably not going to be a good idea to give him a poncho. But what we can do is, because I'm feeling the backpack idea, the cloak, kind of cut that right there. And just kind of tear it like that. Okay. Try to set that up a little higher. Okay. Sweet. So Yeah. Now I can kind of feel that. And once we get that wet down, I think that's going to look pretty good. Especially once we give him a hood. Oh, yeah. So, I'm feeling that. So the next step, we're just going to go get some super glue. And we're just going to kind of tack this in place. Like a tack weld. I'm going to move my light actually because it's all up in my way. There we go. All right. Alrighty. Sweet. So I've got brush super glue. I like this, that way I don't mess up my fingers too bad. So I'm just gonna put it on his shoulder. And another one on his shoulder. I don't really need to go too heavy with it. We'll give the inside a little bit more than the outside. Alright, now once that's on, that'll stay. But what I like to do is just kind of help it out a little bit more. Tuck that edge in. Alright. And once we start giving this several coats of the PVA mixture, it's going to really conform to his body and it's going to look a whole lot better. But in the meantime, let's give him a hood. Okay, so with this, you just want to really find what works for you, what you think looks the best. So I'm thinking I want to have most of the material going the same direction as far as the strands like that, but I definitely don't need this much. So what I'm going to do is probably cut this in half. Like I said, don't be afraid to tear it. Alright, that's not going to work. Actually, this will probably be the best piece. Awesome. So, put a dab on his head. And that's looking a little too neat for me. So I might actually flip it around. Just tidy up that other piece right back here. Okay, and put it that way. There we go. Okay. Awesome. And like I said, I'm going to flock this just barely. So you just want to make it blend together. So I got a sharp edge sticking out right there. Put another piece of bandage on it. Okay, he's supposed to look like a bush after all. Just like that. Okay. So we've got his back. I'm going to tack that down to his boot right there. We can give him a little bit in the front though. Okay, so I'm going to tack his boot. And push that up. Got my finger. Alright. Just like that. Okay. This is also going to make it way easier to paint because you're not going to really have to worry about any mag pouches. Alright. Now what do we want to hit next? I'm thinking tuck it up under here. Get his underside going. And we can make it blend all in together like that. Oh, sorry. I keep getting it out of the shot. Alright. Like that, and then we'll get a couple of strips on the arms. Sounds good, so let's do that. Get one right down there. Alright. And then what's really good about this stuff is it kind of sticks to itself, and it really allows you to hide it, or hide all the seams, that is. So now we're going to go for his legs. When you have spindly stuff, like I'll show you when we get to the rifle, you can just kind of get a long, thin strand like that and twirl it. Don't be afraid to cut this stuff, or tear it. I'm sorry. So, just eyeballing and measuring. Alright, so let's get about, there we go. I really like tearing it, especially width-wise, because you wind up with these cool effects like that, and it's going to look really good on the model. So, I'm going to actually get another one of those going. Awesome. That's going to be perfect for his outside leg. Just like that. Awesome. You see I didn't even put any glue on that right there, because it really likes to adhere to itself, and then I had to talk and ruin it. Alright. So I'm going to tack that feller in place. Okay. Nice. Okay, and you get one more on his shoulder. Probably doesn't need a big piece. So, actually, do I want a big piece? No, it's not going to look right. Okay. Alright. Now, the more random bits and strands you have hanging off of this guy, the better I think it's going to look for you. Alright. Now that right there, you can already see what we're going for. Not finished product at all. But it's definitely getting there. Alright, now we just got to get the inside legs. We don't want to give him a blanket. We don't want it to look like he's doing a ghost sheet. So, apply it to the contours of the body and make it really work for you. So for this elbow, I think I'm going to have a little bit draping off. So, let's get, oh yeah, think that right there is going to really work for us. Okay. If I can get it just like that, and I think I have stretched my handle out a little bit. Okay, just like that. I like that. Now all we gotta do is hide his crotch, and I think we'll be good. So, the tinier pieces really don't like to tear as well as the bigger ones. Okay, so for that, I'm not even going to dry fit that. I'm just going to make it work. So, super glue on his crotch. Really coat that inside. Get that other one. This is what's going to be our tying, or our binding piece. So, take my knife. Get underneath his leg. Okay. Crap. If that droops down, it's okay. Alright, now I got this little bit extra right here, so I'm just going to clip that off. Sounds good. Awesome. I'll clip this off as well. I really don't need that. It's going to get blended in with the basing anyways, but it's going to be harder to cut off later. Well, probably easier because right now it's not one to come. Oh, come on, buddy. There you go. Awesome. Alright, so once we're happy, oh, you know what? Totally forgot. Forgot to wrap the rifle. So, for this, just pick a point. We'll start right there. I want a little bit of the barrel poking out. And we're basically just going to start it. Which I'll start it towards the end. I like to leave a little bit hanging off. Unless it doesn't want to work with me today. Okay, leave a little bit hanging off. Bam, just like that. Okay, and then you can bring it over the sight or the scope. And then just tack that down. You don't need to go overboard with it. Just really get the parts that are sticking out. Okay, get my super glue in it again. And you can come from the outside too, because this stuff's very porous. And we're just trying to get a loose hold on it. The PVA is going to do the rest. Alright, once we're pretty happy with that, this glue mixture we got is going to basically make this stuff feel like plastic. So just come in, get a very wet, very big brush that you really don't care about. Make sure you push your knife out of the way to where you don't have a risk of cutting yourself. And then we're just going to wet that sucker down. Alright. Be real generous with it. This stuff's thirsty. It's going to take a lot of liquid, and that's good, because you want it to absorb all that glue that you've got mixed in here. Okay. It's not going to ruin your model. Yeah. Really, we could probably almost dip this stuff, but it's not really necessary. Alright. And then also get that little dangly bit right there. You can see that super glue has already kind of toughened it up a little bit, but this PVA is gonna really do the trick. All right, and then this is also your last little. This is your last minute chance to form and shape the suit or the camo any way you want. So, like, let's say that I want this hood to be a little bit more down. Just make sure it's not covering his eyes. I can do that. Once this stuff dries, it's going to get really hard. Okay. Sweet. And once he looks like a swamp monster, we can set him aside. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is done. Now let's go to our prone guy. For our prone guy, I want him to have more of a blanket type. This is obviously going to be easier because we don't have to wrap him as much. But you still want to make sure that you're not making him look like a 50s Halloween, you know, you don't want him to have a ghost sheet. So I'm cutting out a spot for his legs. Give him a little bit more on his cocked knee. And I just want to really fill in that area down there. Okay, I don't need this much, so I'm going to tear it. Probably save one of these pieces for the head. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Still got a little much, so you do want his boots to show just a little bit, because you gotta think he doesn't want to trip if he has to, you know, run and move it to the next spot. So you want him camoed, but his boots are okay. It's not going to be showing his back to the enemy anyways. Alright. So I'm just kind of shaping it right now. Alright. Happy with that. So let's tack it. Okay, that's in place. Now, get his ankles right over there. Right. Now you don't need to go too crazy with that, getting it in between his legs, but you still want to, you know, give a little bit of a divot. Make it somewhat resemble a human body. I know that's the goal of camo, but, you know, don't make it look like you just laid a tarp over him, because that's lazy modeling, and people will judge you. Okay, for this, we're going to stretch that out a little bit. And hold it. Just like that. It's not going to look tight. It's going to look like it's laid over him. Okay, we're going to add all of our leaves and everything to it anyways. Happy with that, so let's lay that down and seal it in. Okay, the other side, we're going to do the exact same thing. Unless it doesn't want to go. Oh, that side's pretty glued down already, so we'll move on. Okay, take one of our more torn up bits. We're going to blend in this hard edge. Okay, so I'm thinking, now we'll flip that over. There we go. I don't want any of that bandana showing though. So if we do that, that doesn't look too bad. We'll take that off. Well, the stuff that wants to come off anyways. We'll just put it all over his head. Like so. Awesome. Now as you're coming up with little bits like these, you might start seeing, you know, having that looking at the clouds effect where you start already seeing pieces that are going to look perfect. So that, to me, this just screams an arm. Probably doesn't to anyone else, and I'm probably just crazy, but I think it's going to look great right there. So we're going to put it on his arm. Okay, cover it up right there. And again, just give yourself that little divot to where you're kind of separating and contorting a little bit to his body. Okay. And this is going to flow into the already wrapped rifle. We're still going to texture it, obviously, because that just looks like a brown sheet once we paint it, but alright. Next, yeah, we definitely want to alternate that. We've got most of the lines going in the same direction. Now we'll come over here. Oh, this guy, like, just whoever sculpted this, it just goes straight from his body into his rifle. That's gotta be a pain to let go of. So I'm gonna take some more Ace bandage. Just gonna give me a nice thin strip. There we go. Just like that. Give it a couple tugs. Get it really nice and stretched out, almost relaxed. You can come in from the sides too. And what I'm really trying to do is just, you know, take that manufactured effect out of it. I want this to look like loose linen that's just been tested in the jungles for days. Racked with sweat and dirt and grime. Everything like that. Okay, tear off a piece for me. And I'll make that. I'm not happy with that one. I'm going to take that off. You know what? I think this over here, though. That right there, I think that'll work. We'll just paint over that. Okay. Alright, now, get that rifle. So with this one, just because how he's modeled, I don't think we're going to be able to get quite the same effect as the previous one, but we'll still try. So I'm going to give him just a little bit right up there. Okay. I'm using a much thicker piece, but that's okay. Alright, so we'll give that a minute to take hold. Then I can bring it under. And I'm not going to be able to do exactly what we just did on the previous model, but we're going to give it our best shot. So I'm going to take my knife, try to flatten that out as best I can. I think it's caught on the bipod. There it is. Alright. Sweet. Okay. I'm just going to cover up whoever made this sculpt's handiwork. Okay. Well, we're just going to tack it on. We're going to give it one more. So for this, I'm just going to stretch it real nice. This is a metal model, so it's not going to break it. Okay, just like that. I'm going to get one more, just kind of blend it in. And wouldn't you know, I've already got a piece cut size. I think that's gonna look really good. You want, you know, obviously little pieces in the model poking out. So we're gonna go pretty nice right there. And I think, looking at it, that I'm gonna go back when we apply our when we apply our glue. I think I'm gonna peel this back just a little bit, just so I can see a little bit more of his face, because he's going full none right there. Oh yeah, that looks good. Curl that up. That looks really good. Camera guy, you getting this? Oh yeah. You know what? I'm taking that in place because I like that a lot. Okay. Now the thing with this is you got to see through this stage, and what I mean by that is you really got to imagine how this is going to look with this guy all painted up, with some basing around it. What are you going to do? What paints are you going to use? What color scheme? What camo? All that. How is it going to fit in with your army? You got to think, you know, a couple steps ahead with this technique. So I am happy with that guy. Alright. Now don't be too excessive, because you got to think, you know, the more that's on this, the longer it's going to take to dry. And you're ideally going to want to do a couple of different coats on this. But there we go. Shoot you from a mile away, you wouldn't even know it. Now for this last guy, let's get a plan together. So it's going to obviously be a little bit harder. Again, just because of how he's modeled, we're going to have to do more of a custom bodysuit for him. So I'm going to have to do one right here, and then probably a big one around the outside, one for his head, and then one for his rifle. So let's get his measurements. Test him for his new wardrobe. So for the big one, which way have I been going for these guys? The threads are going horizontal and the threads are going horizontal. So, okay. Try to keep them all more or less the same. So right there, tear off a piece, and then tear off a piece, and you know what? Let's tear off another piece, or at least stretch it out a little bit. Get it distressed a little bit. Okay. There we go. Alright, I think that's going to be more of an appropriate fit. So, okay, that'll work. Will this work? Now this one's going to be a bit of a pain because I don't really want any of that metal to show through, at least on this one. Or if it does, I'm really going to have to blend it in because he's going to look stupid wearing a ghillie suit over a camo cloak. You know what? We'll do the inside first. That's going to be easier. And yeah, we can use this piece right here. Okay. Probably be a lot easier if you measured, huh, Chris? No. That's for quitters. Alright, actually, you know what? I think we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to tack it. We're going to tack it right here, and we're going to blend it over. Okay, yeah. Now, we are going to have to kind of create a false arm line, but that's okay. Alright, so yeah, we're going to definitely do that. So, get it all over there, and get it all over there. Okay. Make contact with that. I'm just tucking it in with my knife and wrapping it around. Alright, and then remember, kind of want to create those little divots wherever you can to show that he actually is a person under there. So, yeah, go up in his privates and back of my knife. I'm just gonna, oh crap, this fucking thing. Okay, come on. There you go. Okay. It'll do what you want. You just gotta coax it a little bit. Try not to super glue your fingers. And you know what? I think that's good enough for government work. Alright. Now he looks like he's got a hula skirt, so let's finish him. Finish him. Okay. So I'm going to leave a little bit on his shoulder right there. I'm going to come around, because remember, I want to make those arm lines. Oh, dang it. Alright. This guy is going to maybe not work. Damn. This cloak. Yeah, we're going with a different approach. This is why we get metal models. We're just going to make him have a cloak. That's the reason why metal models are superior, because halfway through painting you can just go, nah, I'm not feeling it. Halfway through super gluing, who cares? Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna make his cloak better. Still gonna give him a hood though. Okay, everything else still applies. And what we'll do, just kind of loop that back onto itself right there. Stretch our material around. I don't want to go past the edges because we're going to cut it. Okay, get the rest of it on there. Come on, girl. Alright. Awesome. Sweet, now we're going to layer a little bit more down, which we probably only need his head. And then we can trim that up a little bit. Or not, we'll see how it looks. Yeah, that's going to look way better than just wrapping him completely. Alright. Stretch it. Okay. Pinch off a little bit for the head. Might do a third piece for the head. We'll see how this works. Yeah, I'm going to do a third piece for the head. That's not going to look right. Okay. Give ourselves a little bit more leeway. Awesome. Alright, find our anchor points. So right here on the edge of the shoulder and right here on the forearm. And place. All right. The most important part of this is make sure that you're not blocking his shot. So it looks like it's right in front of his eye, so we're gonna tangle that down a little bit, because who cares if they can't see you if you can't see them? And we're just gonna coax that down a little bit more. Just kind of feather in that edge. Feather it, brother. Alrighty, and lastly, we'll get his head. I really like that approach that we did with the last guy, where we folded it in, so I'm going to definitely do that again. So, put a blop on top of his head, and drop it on. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until that dries. Just gonna file it off. So now, let's get it nice and soaked. Okay. Once that's got some glue on it, we can just kind of brush that down. Use our fingers. And I'm going to use that knife and try to fill that back in on itself because I really liked how that looked. Unless it's just not ever going to happen again and I'm never going to get that lucky again. Yeah, probably that. You know what? Why would it work? That would be stupid, right? Oh man, come on. I don't like this little curly cue he's got. Come on, man. Okay. Is your shot locked at least? You know what? I don't know if we have enough material over there, so let's try some more. I'm probably just ruining it. Nah, actually, that's probably going to work a lot better. Alright, that doesn't look too terrible. I'm saying that, and it probably looks like a 5-year-old's paper mache. But whatever, we're going with it. Okay. He's a 4-point model. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Alright, now get that rifle wrap. So, another thin strip. Stretch it out, make it look not straight. Alright. And for this one, you know what, we've done that little dangly bit. This time, we're not going to do it. We're going to go all the way over the suppressor, or the flash hider, or whatever this thing is. Okay, and we're just going to tack it and wrap it. Okay, and when you run out like this, get some more. The good thing about this stuff is you get one purchase for hobbying is a lifetime supply. Because I don't think I'm ever going to use all of this for at least modeling. Unless I do an entire camoed up army, which I don't think I have that kind of patience. Alright, so we're going to put some more super glue right there. Get another bead going. Continue where we left off. Unless it just doesn't want to stick. Oop, watch out for his hand though. You gotta be consistent with the model. We'll cut that off. Okay. So that looks like all that. So we're gonna cut that right there. And tack it into place over there. Now you do want to make sure that your ghillie's not, you know, meeting where it shouldn't. You want him to be able to, you know, theoretically put the rifle down if he needs to, you know, stop and spot an enemy, or I don't know, use the bathroom. So we don't want to have rifle wrap going all over his hands, so we're just going to work that away. And again, pros of a metal model. Actually, I'm just going to... Oh. I'll cut it later after the glue hardens, because he's going to need some love anyways. Alright, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next Monday.